Blessed be. Hello. Happy Friday. Hi, my name is Chris Farah, and welcome for tonight. We'll be talking about the new season 3, episodes 1 and 2 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Yes, the gals are back, the gals from Utah with devout relationships with God and hair extensions. And already I can tell some style differences aesthetically from, let's just say, a vain standpoint. And I'm excited to talk about this new season. I've watched the first 4 episodes, but they obviously dropped 10. So God bless them. And I haven't watched 10, believe it or not, but I will be doing this episode of episode 1 and 2, one mega episode now, and then recapping more on Sunday. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys are enjoying. Let's get in. I have, I love a lot of thoughts. And oops, just so you know, I do have my Bengal bracelets on, which means you're going to hear some clickety clinky. I'm sorry about that. It's just like how you have to sort of get over the fact that you're going to hear a slight Utah accent with all of these gals. And if you are a Sister Wives fan, you know my penchant for saying like Reldell, right? Like that's my entry into a specific kind of like Utah-ian accent. Now, here's the thing about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We certainly know some things in the world with these gals that aren't talked about yet in the opening of the season. For instance, Taylor is the new bachelorette, period. I don't know why I said period. God bless. That sounded like such a stand. Like Taylor's the new bachelorette. Period. God bless. I don't have a dog in this fight. They're not dogs, but you know what I'm saying. Like I watch this from a fun standpoint. That yes, I'm a lover of all things femme, and I will gloriously rejoice in watching the inner workings of feminine matriarchal behavior. Although this is incredibly vain and vapid, immature, reminiscent of high school, Mean Girls almost a little bit, and like so high school that it's like wild, but also the perfect kind of marriage of that with my absolute obsession with unprecedented like accents with like, access to insular communities, right? So I do love these Mormons, and I do love other cultures that you could like consider that, and we've definitely seen TLC exploit them all, from the Romanias to like all the Amish peeps. Having said that, I really like watching women work shit out, even if it does feel like an immature level, an emotionally immature level. Having said that, Taylor is obviously the Bachelorette, and then also Whitney is on Dancing with the Stars, and so is Jen. So we don't get to talk about that. That must happen later. We do know kind of the layout of, at least in like episode 1, of who's in, who's out. Very Heidi Klum currently. So we'll get the scoop. So we know that Demi has walked away from mom talk, and specifically Demi asked for like a lot of money 3 times, which is like, interesting because, no one really likes her that much. Taylor is just like feeding her son mac and cheese. God bless. Oh my God. I wish I didn't like Taco Bell so much. And the other thing that like is just from my childhood, besides, fruit snacks, which I talk about a lot, red Dwarty food snacks, is, I really do like that powdered mac and cheese. So when I saw her making that, I was like, or feeding her son that, I was like, I'm glad generation after generation just gets really hooked on that, like the salty, cheesy carb coma of that. So Dakota's coming over, and so she's prepping her son, Ever, by being like, you're going to go to church with daddy. So we're led to believe things are going well. She's, in fact, going to a therapy retreat, a very intensive therapy retreat for 2 weeks. Packing it all in. Here's the thing. I've realized this about myself. I'm an extremist. And so sometimes things like all intensive, pack it all in, like that appeals to me because I feel like I'm already without, and I have to like somehow ascertain as much as I can to like not be noticed, and I feel like sometimes that is preyed upon that. But maybe this is put on by her therapist. Sometimes I'm like, is this rehab? I wanted to know a little more about this. What kind of therapy? And also, like, I know you can't film that, but we would need to know, because you're like the star of the show, like more about just like your day-to-day life there. Like, I would have liked her to have kept a diary that she now has to read to us of her schedule. It could be like, a day in the life of Taylor, Frankie Paul, but like it's, she got up at like 7 and she went to like group meeting, and then they had whatever continental breakfast, and like, were there gluten-free options? I want to know, was there matchas? Like, I need to know all of that. The first event we get, and here's the thing that's somewhat obnoxious now, is that for some reason, wherever they live is like the mecca of like, Utah influencer life. And there's just all these influencer events, which is only LOL because I live in Los Angeles and like there's not that many influencer events. Okay, I guess I'm not an influencer that I go to. I guess I should say of the worlds I'm in, but could I go to a screening a night? Yeah. If I was, yeah, but I'm in LA. So many influencer events in Provo. This one is a Minky influencer event. I looked it up. It's like soft blankets. Well, yeah, soft blankets, like the throws that are cozy, that like you would just be like, I'm gonna take a nap right here. But they're in luxe, I guess, prints, and it just does feel so Utah. It does feel all of these girls, and they get together. The theme of the event is like kind of black and white, and then they play this like kind of ridiculous game, which is basically musical chairs or hot potato, musical chairs or whatever. And except that if you're picked, or I guess bingo, whatever it is, it's okay. Listen, it's like musical chairs and a raffle that's played with multiple levels. Okay, I don't know why I try to make a metaphor. You're like, Chris, please move on. So you kind of just like walk around, and then you hear something, and then you have to run to a square with a number on it, and then they call up that number and you get like a free purse. Now, I look at these things. I'll tell you right now, the entire season 2 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, it felt like was sponsored by Goyard. Like they just had a bunch of those bags. And yet here we are in season 3, and I see nothing but Louis. Louis. It's LVs everywhere. Okay. At one point, Macy's like, they're giving away Coach purses. I want one. I was like, do you? So what, you can give it to your mother-in-law? I'm okay. Know that when I said that, I'm like, I just don't know if she's going to use it. I just think that some of these girls, what ends up happening is you can just go to like a website, DH8 Gate or whatever, and get fine looking replicas of designer bags that like look like high quality bags to the naked eye. And they obviously just have logos on them that make them appear to be thousands of more dollars. Okay, God bless. So, you see them a lot, and you have to assume that some of them are going to be fake. And so we'll get into them. On my Substack, I'm going to dive into all the bags I see from LV because I couldn't believe it how many there were. Okay. Michaela's and Macy are both pregnant, which we both know. Macy's going to complain a lot in these episodes about how big she is or feeling like she's fat or whatever. And also that makes me sad sometimes. And I've said this before because I'm like, oh, girl, you've had kids before. You have to sometimes remember how you can like talk about yourself and stuff like that. And even if you're, what is fat? What is that word? What is it relative? Like, first of all, I'll tell you what fat is like a tissue that expands, on organs to support and protect them, I think is specifically in human bodies. And then obviously as an adjective, it means that your body is larger mass than whatever you think it should be, society or you. And definitely like that's a crazy thing to just keep like being obsessed with when you are literally pregnant. It just, I don't know, makes me sad. Made you sad too. But we kind of get a breakdown of who's in and who's out of Mom Talk with, first of all, Taylor and Jen are on a mental health break, but they're still in. Good. Miranda's like maybe, and Miranda honestly shouldn't be in because Miranda has not one personality, barely a chin, but even less of a personality. Um, but this was like one of the funnier things. So they're like, Whitney said no. Whitney doesn't want to be on it unless she gets tickets to the Oscars, which that in itself was like, that's not that hard. And why I say that is because, okay, well, I'll go back. It's not hard to get tickets to the Oscars because they like need seat fillers and stuff like that. If you think about the Oscars, it's a huge show like in a big theater. And yeah, there's like a lot of celebrities, but there's all the people that like, sit in the other spaces. They usually like they hire people that are sit fillers or people you can go. So all that to say, I just don't maybe understand why specifically my little nephew's calling me. Oh, I love him. Oh, I can't pick up. I love you, Luke. I'll call you back. Um, I don't want to say why Hulu couldn't just like throw them a bone. Now, the second thing is hilarious. Whitney was like, I want a scripted show. Girl, same. Girl, same. Yeah, Hulu. Can I have a scripted show? Come on. I can dance. Listen, I can't dance as good as Whitney, but like I'm definitely funnier and I can kind of sing. And I'm not a horrible person all the time. And I say that she's a horrible person all the time only because I do think that she uses her kids in kind of like weird, cringy clout ways. There was too many C's in that sentence for me. Um, so anyway, when Michaela's going over this, yeah, so Whitney wanted this, and clearly she's not here, so she didn't get it, was LOL. Now, we know that her scripted series, I guess, turned into Dancing with the Stars, and she's killing it. So, Demi's relatives, they come to this event and they all look like they're from Texas. I was like, I don't know if I know exactly what Utah looks like because I do feel like Utah has many different types. And by that, I mean, even in my Mormon Utah shows, there's many different types. And, you know, Demi's parents look like, or aunts or whatever, just had some big ass hair, some big ass pageant hair. Um, they hang out, those girls, Whitney and Demi, so that's fine. The girls are like, you can have a rival mom talk gang if you want. And then it made me feel like very West Side Story. And I feel like that would be great. It'd actually be great if they started to get other girls involved. And the weird thing about the mom talk thing is that since I don't know the entire ancestral family line and they keep bringing up new girls like Camille or some other one that was like, well, she was an OG, but blah, 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 she left. It's like the idea that, Demi and Whitney could like start a rival mom talking isn't that far out, specifically because what I'm looking at is a town full of wannabe influencers and all these events with just wanting more people to be there. I mean, it's like an influencer industry to the point where like we're going to learn like people have podcasts to feed it and stuff like that. I mean, as you hear, I'm a podcaster. I guess I feed reality shows, but it's just, I didn't understand the infrastructure of the influencer Utah industry, but it's really fascinating. So Miranda comes, great. Miranda's still friends with Demi and we're like, whatever. I don't know why I call her Demi. They win some purses, but I will tell you that Layla is rocking like a really minimal eye look this season. She's taken off the eyelash extensions, and I find it to be like a very youthful, very fresh look for Layla. I think she looks great. Jesse comes, and here's the thing. Now, this is season 3, and we know how season 2 ended. And if you don't know, I'll tell you right now. It ended with Layla going to visit this stupid guy named Marciano, who I guess is a cast member or whatnot, or was on one episode of Vanderpump Villa that these Mormon housewives are on, which is a Hulu show, coincidentally. Hi, who. That I guess resulted in drama, so much drama that can't possibly be fake. That when she went to go see him, it was initially about his relationship with Demi, and it's like they flirted, everyone knew it, and he was like, yeah, but the big story was Jesse, and that's how we like cut, right? It was like Layla's face. Layla does such good holy shit what the fuck faces. Layla's face is like really great at being like, what? She has like great eyes. She's so pretty. A lot of these girls are really pretty. Like Michaela has big eyes too. Like Jessie does a lot of crazy faces. On my TikTok, I maybe did a full slideshow of snapshots of Jessie and Layla talking from this scene, which I'll get into. So at this event, Layla knows that, and she's waiting to talk to Jessie because she doesn't want to be that girl that's just going to bring it up at the event in front of all these girls. And obviously, it's an influencer event, so she really wants Jessie to show up and then somehow pull her out before she gets there and lets her know, hey, just so you know, I know the information that's going to blow up your entire life and marriage, and we're on the show, so I'm about to give it to you right now. You know what that means? It's on television. There's recording cameras. In fact, why don't we just go into this car with all these GoPros while I blow up your life? And by blow up your life, lay bare what you've already done, so he's like, Jessie says yes, goes in the car, and Layla's like, yeah, Marciana told me that you guys have been having an affair these last couple of months, and Jessie starts freaking the fuck out. Jessie has like hardly any makeup on, and Jessie starts trying to be like, it was in this time when Jordan and I separated in September, and then I went to Hollywood, and then I just kissed him twice, and we had an emotional affair for a couple of weeks. And Layla is like, no. And we're all kind of like, girl, no. I mean, here's the thing. Had this happened at all, then no. But okay. So Jessie's like, Jordan knows, and we're going to stay together. And Layla's like, okay, just so you know, he didn't say that you guys just kissed. He was like, no, we boned. I put my nope. Biblically, I know that person. Let me just say it that way. Brigham Young, I know her. You know what I'm saying? So they call him, and he's like real elusive in the fact that it's like, is that what you're gonna say? She's like, you're lying. He's like, that's what I told you she was gonna say. So, it sounds good. All right. Well, I guess I'm lying. And so it's like a he said, she said, which is horrible. Also, so high school. Also just interesting. Jessie obviously is so upset, freaking out. And they like cut back to the party, and the last little like tidbit of the party is that Minky got to say, ain't no party like a Minky party, which I thought was so dumb, but great. If you haven't yet, please like this. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please give my algorithm a little thumbs up. Please, let the people know that you enjoy your life here, so that I can consider some movement, upward movement for my channels in my life. So basically, Jessie then tells Jordan he's very upset, but he already knew. But what he's upset about is that the cameras know. The cameras know, and we know now. They all know. We know, and he knows that we know that Marciano knew his wife, maybe. And also, the two kisses thing sounds real suspect. So even Jordan's like, "Fuck," what I thought I was just gonna blink, blink, and let go. For my own personal reasons, I now know the world will know that I blinked, and let go of. The next morning they talk. Jessie, has been crying a lot, and he's just really upset because the world's gonna know all of his personal business. And she's kind of like, yeah, but also you can finally tell your family in a good way. Like maybe this is a real big healing thing. And and then she's like, but I'm also really fearing telling the girls, meaning her children. And in that moment, I was like, it's actually kind of harder for him to probably tell his family than you to just tell your girls. You just have to tell your girls you made a mistake. I don't think your girls aren't his daughters. I don't know. Then back at her salon, she's not there, but Macy parks in her spot, and they all kind of convene for Layla's birthday. They're getting ready. They're all in sweatpants and short Ugg slippers. I mean, they all commit to one look, and they're like, this is what we are wearing. It's pink on Wednesdays. It's sweatpants, oversized sweatpants. It's Ugg slippers. It's LVs in season 3. In season 4, Chanel's? In season 5, Celine's? Season 6, Dooney and Burke's? Okay. You're welcome. Okay. So Layla's like, yeah, the vibe of my birthday is slutty. And I love that for her. But she also is like, "Hey guys, I'm inviting my friends, my friend Kate, who's just by the way dating Chase." And we know Chase is okay, Chase is Miranda's ex-husband and also kind of like a tool weird alpha male who like also walks like he thinks he's like from the like a mafia time or something. He or a wrestler. I don't know if he what kind of gait he has. It's wild. Um we also find out that Jordan and Dakota are friends now. They're like friends that don't drink, they're like good guys, so they just drink like Celsiuses and like they say things like, "You've been really vulnerable with me, and I've been holding something. It's like eating me up inside." That's Jordan to Dakota. And, Jordan does tell Dakota that Jesse cheated on him. And Dakota hears that and he's like, "First off, thanks, bro." And just like hugs him. And I mean, why do I find that amusing? Why do you find that amusing? Do you find it amusing? I'll tell you why I find it amusing. It's because it's like therapy talk, and it's because it is not toxic masculinity. It's almost like a little bit almost playing at the opposite. I have to like comment on it. I'm not saying I hate it, but I am amused by it. Yeah, bro, thanks for being so open and vulnerable with me. I mean, it does almost sound like a sketch. I kind of love it. Okay. So, okay, sorry. So basically, we get a little bit of that Jen is going to be coming back, that she took a break. She was mortified, when she found out that she was pregnant, and then it was like a really, really like tough time. Um, that she probably had like some prenatal depression. Um, she also was sad because she told everyone that Jordan has a small wiener. Michaela and Macy go over to Jesse's house, and it's because Jesse has to come clean to the girls, and they're all wearing their same sweatpants and Uggs. And this time they had like, by the way, lots of Stanleys. That's the other thing, like different Stanleys depending on their outfits. Remember when Stanleys were like a huge thing? I feel like it's like gone now. Like that was one and done. Is that when that happens? It's because like one company paid $1 billion for like the world to hear about something for like 6 weeks, and then the $1 billion runs out and they just hope that enough people were like, "Stanley's the whole time we didn't know." I mean, I bought two. I'm not happy about it. I'm happy about one of them. It's like the Love Shock fancy one. That one I bought that I just showed you was like just some random art deco gold one. I surely didn't need it. Anyway, Michaela and Macy are, how do I say this? They're judgy girls. They're judgy girls. They're church judgy girls. I mean, that's they have long hair and they think we wouldn't, we couldn't, we wouldn't, we would never dare. But you dared. You are that kind of person, but we don't. And that is interesting. Jesse has been plagued with infidelity rumors before. So when Jesse tells the girls, they first of all can't do anything too crazy because Jesse is nice, does all their hair for free, and they all know there's like basically two people left in mom talk. At this point, obviously Taylor's gonna go on a 2 week retreat. There's no one, so they're like, oh fuck. Michaela's like, as long as you're not Whitney. So they listen to them. I mean, they listen to Jesse. They judge. They pretend they don't judge, but they judge. And Jesse's like, "You guys were hearing me. I thought you guys would judge me." They're like, "You were right. You were right about that. We'll still hang out with you. We'll definitely make money with you. But I mean, like when it comes to how we think of you as a character, as a person, we don't think you're a good wife. We don't think that you respect Jordan. We definitely don't think that like Jordan should stay with you. We would never. Like whatever." Um, Later on, together, they blame Jesse in the driveway for leaving the church. Like wouldn't have happened, even if they're like somewhat joking. It's like the truth comes out. The next scene is that they're all in Salt Lake City for Layla's birthday. Her slutty birthday at STK. Oh, steakhouse. Oh my God. When I saw that steakhouse, I've been to an STK and I do like an animal have a mouth-watering effect when I think about the fact that that I could eat a piece of meat that has been cooked over an open flame. Like, yum. So, happy for her. All the other guys are like across the way at some other stupid place. We don't care about them. But it is kind of like summer love or summer nights or whatever, where it's just like back and forth. And Layla's party, God bless, was doomed from the start, and she knew it. Now, Layla wants to pretend that she didn't know it, but she did know it because Layla has a whole life and all her friends, and this is her birthday, but she's also on the show, and the show is, about this group of women. And we know what happened last season. We know who did that. We know how they feel. And at the end of the day, this is your women you have to protect, and you cannot allow a man who has been threatening to them to be in their warning. And that is why Layla is wrong. You're like, threatening how? But I'm like, if as your friend, and if this is like girl code and we're in a matriarchal world of Mormon wives, like it's just you couldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to be trusted after that. But she really wants to be like, my friend's dating him. And I'm like, ugh, your friend doesn't look like shit. Your friend looks weird. Jordan knows your friend. Your friend's been around the block. What's weird is suddenly when Chase and this girl comes in, it's like they know, because the producers, that there is like drama that they get to be privy to. And the drama, of course, is Jesse and Jordan's crumbling marriage. And Jordan knows he has to like lay all this out, lay bare. And he, doesn't want to. He's embarrassed by it. We also find out that, yeah, Chase gets a shout out for his podcast, including clips, like vertical clips of his dumb podcast where like they have whatever comments he made and they are not important. Anyway. And by that, I mean, if he was involved in the swinger situation, he could be making comments on that. But instead, he just can't comment on the girls' drama from like seasons after. But Layla is also like, look, I really like his brother, I guess, Mason. Or like, oh, Jesus, you have horrible taste in men. And then kind of Michaela and Macy are watching Layla like be fake with all these people that they don't like, and they're like upset about it. And I get that for her. And Layla's like, no, 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 no. I just brought Chase to apologize because he apologized to me. So I want him to apologize to the girls. But like, he didn't come in with apologizing energy, and she didn't tell them that that was going to happen. Jordan basically knows the walls are coming in, that like people are going to know all of his business, and that it's going to be like super awkward. And he does not want that for himself. Like he's like, I hate that for me. So basically, Michaela and Macy are like, Layla, you fucked us over. You didn't tell us that Chase is going to be here, and we don't want him to be there. Chase's girlfriend's going over to Jordan being like, hi, friend from family childhood. Any tea that you want to tell me about that I don't have a podcaster husband? I'm not going to like tell him immediately. Jordan's like, oh my God. Jordan leaves. I said, Dakota picks him up in like a white Tacoma, like a white horse, like saves him. We'll later be like, Dakota, where was Ever during this time? Is he in the back seat? I don't know. And then Macy and Michaela are like, we're going to leave. We're upset at you, Layla, for like ambushing us in this situation. Plus, they're also pregnant, which that part, I guess. Macy leaves, and specifically, Jesse is kind of like deep dive talking in a world of herself because she's on television. She doesn't want to deal with anyone else, right? Especially not Jordan. And Jordan is in his head. So Jordan leaves. She doesn't even know. They have to tell her later. She's like, what? Macy leaves. Michaela like comes back, but then, whatever. Layla's really, really upset because she feels like her friends ditched her. It should have been her birthday. They should have like listened to what she wanted and like done things differently. And also, I think that Layla really wants to have more of a voice this season. I think she really wants to be someone who kind of can be a story center. And so I was happy for her as she like gets her toes in that, because I want the best for her, Layla. I really, really do. Um, but that it was the end of episode 1. Episode 2 starts, honey, and the girls, Michaela and Macy, after Layla's somewhat disastrous party, are at what looks like a Love Shack fancy kind of like prairie dress store where they're trying on all those smock styles, honey, and they're making fun of like trad wives, which I felt great about. They're like, "Hey, oh my god, I'm just someone like a little milkmaid. I have a husband who needs me to go get the eggs. He's going to bring home all his money." And the girls are laughing about that because, of course, they make all the money in their relationships, just like how Jessie makes all the money in her relationship, which probably is one of the reasons why Jordan stayed around. They will find out had a horrible relationship. In fact, we'll hear about it. Next scene after the prairie dress scene, though we do hear that Michaela and them are like making up, is that Jesse's nowhere to be found. They call her, they go straight to voicemail. Jordan and Jesse are fighting as her sisters and mom are just like in the foyer hearing all this. At this point, Jesse is also like being like, Jordan, I wasn't happy. You need to make me happy. And there was like emotional abuse and emotional neglect involved. And I did what I had to do a little bit, like setting up that. And Jordan's like, I don't give a fuck. And she's like, well, you're pushing me away. He's like, that's what yep, correct. So we also realized that Jesse's mom's like, I knew this was going to happen. I never liked him. And Jesse was like, oh, I thought you'd be more surprised about that. Oh, okay. They do separate, which we'll find out. They'll go to therapy and then we'll just see exactly what happens. But they separate for the time being and they move to different spaces. Taylor's back and Dakota goes to bring back Ever. He's been taking care of his own baby. And he's like, guess what? That baby I have to take care of all by myself gets up at 6 a.m. I mean, some nights I didn't sleep. And then some nights I had to go pick up Jordan and I didn't know what to do with the baby. What did you do with that baby? Um, Also, Dakota fills Taylor in on the Jordan Jesse drama, which she's like, what? And Taylor's happy about it. Taylor feels fresh. I'm happy for her. We get to the St. Patty's Day Michaela party, which of course is why they were going dress shopping. Even though I knew they were going to have any of those prairie dresses, they don't wear that. So the St. Patty's Day party is great because I do love a green motif. The thing about it though is because these are all influencer events and because I get it, she's a mom and she's like has someone doing all the things, they all tend to look the same with everything that kind of like has the same vibe with the same sort of little souvenirs and kind of kitschy catchy thing. And I don't know. It just felt like I would love like a different vibe. I would love something that feels a little more intimate. Like I would love one of them to just have bar night where people just wear puffy vests because they're they're in Utah. You know what I'm saying? Or like just a board game night, or they need something like as chill with like without decorations that say the event that you're celebrating. Um, I do love Miranda's jacket. Do you see that green leather jacket she was wearing? It looked so good. I did later on try to look up like what was that? Was it a emerald green? Was it a forest green? Was it a moss green leather beat? Was it vegan leather? I thought it was a boxy cut. I thought it was cute. It almost looked like something that would be on Revolve, but I looked at Revolve. So the girls apologize, and then Layla apologizes, for the mess that was her party. And which I will say that Layla had one good thing she said, that she's like, Michaela and Macy always make everything so goddamn negative, and they are getting to be a little like curmudgeon-y together. So I am happy that she had airtime for that because it's true. Um, Jesse comes and like so does Jordan, but also, Layla had to also bring a friend, which was interesting. Side note is for Michaela's, this is Michaela's birthday. Layla wanted to bring a friend because she, is single or not dating anyone right now, even though she wants to date Chase's stupid brother. And she said that she was just dating someone before. And obviously some people are married. It must be annoying. But Michaela was kind of a bitch because she brought someone in and definitely she knows why Layla could be uncomfortable in this situation because they fought. And Michaela was kind of like, I didn't give her a +1. And it's like, that's your friend. Ugh. Michaela can be a little bitchy. So also, I'm only in, episode 3 or 4. They're hinting that to me that Michaela and her husband have marital issues. They keep being like, "We don't know what other secrets there are out there." And I wanna be like, "Why do you keep showing us edit cuts of them right after?" Okay. So, after the girls apologize, Jesse comes, and I said Jordan comes separately, and they girls will talk a little bit about Jen and Zach being back and how they went to Chippendales. And then Jesse having told Mesa, Michaela and Macy about her situation with Marciano, knows that it's not a good look, and and Layla again also knows. Miranda doesn't really know what's the situation, but they don't want to tell Miranda because they feel like Miranda might be a mole for Demi. Anyway, so basically Jesse's like, "Look, I did some rereading, like I always do. I reread the text every night. And I realized that some of the back and forth we said was indicative of where we were romantically. So I need to show you how cringy this is." And she shows texts of him being like, "Can you handle me?" And her being like, "I don't know, but I want to find out." And then him being like, "Are you ready to dive into the deep end?" And she's like, "Why?" And he's like, "'Cause I'm no kiddie pool." And then all of this being like he has a big dick, but he's warning her about his big dick. And like, obviously, just because we understand time and space, like if she knew about his big dick because they had boned, then like she would not have to be warned about it because she would, in fact, already know about it. But that is what happened. And so they're like, "Great." Now, as she's saying this, Jordan is just right there. She doesn't give a fuck about him. I mean, he's gonna watch that scene. I mean, that's sad. So yeah, Jen has been back for 2 weeks in Utah, and she also lets us know that she plays piano. Somewhat okay. I wasn't blown away, but she plays piano. I was happy for her. I can't play piano. I wish I played piano. Um Now that Macy and Michaela know that Marciano is a fucking lying piece of shit, they're like, "Well, we're pregnant and we don't have anything to do, and we're on this television show, and we're gonna like work shit out. So we're gonna go on the adventure of our lifetime. We're going to like Sherlock Holmes it. We're like on the hunt. We're going to dog the bounty hunter. One of them is dog, and one of them is, God bless, his beautiful wife, R.I.P., who I don't remember her name. I don't really know his name. I mean, I don't know his real name. Um, he looked like Hulk Hogan's uglier brother. Anyway, um, they're gonna go to Beaver, Utah to meet Marciano to try and get him to fess up. And they have like a scene with their husbands while they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And they're like eating guacamole and chips. We're like, "We're just gonna have to like at first pretend to be his friend, to be like, oh my God, those DJ videos of you are so musically good." Um, they get in a car, they're pregnant, they wanna eat, they have to pee off the side of the road. We get like a Lucy and Ethel moment of them peeing. Have you ever tried peeing with one of those if you're a person with a vagina? Have you ever tried to pee with one of those Go vaginas? I almost said GoPros, but like vaginas on the go? I have. It's like a funnel that you like put around that area that you relieve yourself in that like somehow tries to then, you know, put that stuff on the outside like like a penis would. It doesn't work for so many reasons. A, if you have to go to the bathroom really bad, you will pee more than the cup will hold and will just come out. Now you're like, Chris, then slow it down. And it's like, well, sometimes is that an option? I'll stop talking. So um we also get a shot of Jessie talking to her therapist, and now we really get the fact that she really blames Jordan for, like, being a mean asshole, but also being like, "I was just fucking numb because he was so emotionally abusive, but also I hate myself, so I'm the victim. I hate myself, I hate my looks, there's nothing about me I like except for the fact that I know one thing I like about me is that I'm generous." Now, all of this is cringy, and I think that she really means it. I hate myself. The only thing I can possibly like about myself is that I'm generous to other people. She takes no accountability. I mean, I'm not saying that Jordan's great, but like you don't even take accountability for staying in this loveless, sexless, boring ass marriage with some guy who's not that hot, who he's not bringing home any money. So what are you doing and what is he doing and what's happening and why would anyone want to be in this? I mean, he could be in this for the free ride, but it's like, even now he's like I can't deal with the shame, which I think is funny. She seems weird, like Jesse needs help in some way. Like Jesse seems like Taylor Frankie Paul, if but not as popular, not as beloved, and then not having wanted to do any like self-reflective work. Basically, our last scene is the Eminem go obviously. Michaela and Macy are on their way to meet Marciano and Beaver, and they go to a restaurant that looks mom and popish. Michaela, who should be hungry, is like, I'm not hungry, and Macy's like, why? And she's not picking up the fact that Michaela's like being a bitch and being like, I went in here. Marciano comes there and Michaela's like, he looks puffy and Botox. We realize Macy wasn't there, so Macy doesn't know him, but Michaela does. Michaela's like, I'm not gonna reach up, I'm not gonna hug him, I'm not gonna hold his hand, I'm not gonna even get up. Marciano definitely realizes that Michaela's coming in with hardcore, kind of cold, bitchy energy. But the other good thing about Michaela is that she's like pregnant, so she can. She could have just given one like, "Hi, Marciano." Just one little gesture being like, hey, I'm not going to get up because of the pregnancy. But she wouldn't even give him that. She's like, no need. And it's because she knows he's lying. It's good for her. I just didn't know if they wanted to butter him up a little bit. So basically, they get him to admit and break that he lied. That he thought maybe that he had sex with Jordan and, the cum in his pants, but like really he didn't. And what had happened was that he was really obsessed with Demi. Sorry, I don't know why I keep calling her Demi, and like she told me to do this, but it's at the same time I'm actually totally in love with Jesse because we were in an emotional relationship. It's very confusing. He basically just admits to being a liar and then throws Demi under the bus. And I feel like he obviously is a perfect, male villain foil to this, where he's only half the bad guy and the actual villain is again a female. I mean, this is such a female-centered show. It makes me actually really, really happy in that sense. Though, God, it is vapid. And I wish that there were more like scenes where there was depth for the women and not just like playing at therapy stuff, but like they really all should go on a retreat, like an emotional therapy retreat where like we unpack religious trauma and like patriarchal societies views on women and beauty, because all these women all want to look the exact same. Like, so why aren't we actually talking about what's obviously affecting you all? Like, why can't we actually get to like healing and growth for you lovely women who at this juncture in time have the capacity and wherewithal, no, not wherewithal, have the capacity and means to do so. They need the wherewithal, but the means, they're the ones calling the shots, or should be. They're making all the money. So great for them. So we're gonna pick up on episodes 3 and 4 coming up. Oh yeah, what do you guys think of that, the first 2 episodes? I was really, really into it. I mean, the way that they move through linear story is so interesting. They never repeat scene to scene. So whatever drama happens in one scene, when they go to the next scene, we know that drama happened, but like it's moved on since there. It's always A to C. So a text has happened since, like and there's a new piece that like adds a different view so that it's not super boring. It's kind of unfolding even more at a kind of like a slower no, it's not even a slower pace. It's a faster pace, but it's kind of this like nuanced storytelling. I find it really fascinating. It's a great structure. You know what I'm saying? It's like the drama of one party will happen, and then in the next scene, as opposed to Bravos, will just regurgitate everything that's happened. In the next scene, sometime that has passed, there has been updates with texts and or something else that was found out, or a post that laid bare even more so that they can deep dive into more of it. And I appreciate like that subtle difference. Oh my goodness gracious, my loves. It is Friday night. It is raining here in Los Angeles. It's supposed to be full flood watch, but I'm not quite sure. I know I'm going to continue to watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Maybe I'll do a facial. I'm probably going to eat something yummy. All of this and more. What are your plans? I hope you're going to do something. Do something. I mean, I do hope for you. My pets. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, I want to do these are what's on the docket. I'm writing a poem. I'll put that on the Substack soon. But I am going to do a deep dive into the looks on Substack, specifically the amount of Louis Vuitton I'm seeing in this season. At the same time, on TikTok, you can see right now my posts about my hilarious my hilarious what feels like one of those picture books you can just flip through that is almost like a movie of the faces between Jesse and Layla in some of these confession scenes, as well as what I feel like was a subtle Macy and Michaela dig at ballerina farms when they were talking about and making fun of like trod wives in like the Love Shack fancy Doen store. So those two TikToks exist. You have to go see it if you haven't yet. See what I'm like obsessed with. You can follow me at Chris L. Farah on Instagram and TikTok, as well as have you seen my recaps this week for 90 Day Fiance, The Other Way, and Sister Wives? And are you watching Cody Brown on Special Forces, which is basically Army with the Stars, which is Dancing with the Stars, which is what Whitney's on. What a cyclical world. Anyway, my loves, all that's coming up. Please go. You can always follow and be in the Vanity Farah Facebook group. That's where I post before I go live, as well as like my page, Chris Farah on Facebook. I certainly appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here and spending some time with me and listening to my voice talk. I'm tired, but I hope that all of you have a great night. Mwah. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe and make art, small and big. Okay? Bye.